Hey guys, welcome to another video. So I am teaching you how to add on my LionBrand Traveling Knit Afghan square. If you are in our Facebook group, you have been making these squares with everybody else in there. And today I finally get to share my square. So if you aren't familiar with what all this is, I'm going to have everything linked down below for information about it, and then also how you can purchase the whole kit that comes with all of the yarns. And everything that you would need to complete the Afghan. So with that being said, go ahead and grab your 5mm set of knitting needles, and you're going to also need this kind of creamy color. If you're using the cream, this is Fisherman, wool ease, and or whatever color you're going to use. And then settle in, and I'm going to teach you how to make this square. Alrighty, so we're going to do a long tail cast on, and the squares measure 10 by 10. So what I like to do is go just about 10 inches and then give myself a little bit more, just to ensure that I've got a long enough tail to work with. So what I do is I put my tail on my left-hand side, I put my working yarn on the right, I stick my fingers in between, twist once, go down, pick up that working yarn, and we've got our loop. Next, we're going to take our knitting needle, stick it right inside there, pull it taut, and we are ready to begin casting on. So we're going to cast on a total of 40. Hey guys, Editing Jerica here. I wanted to pop in and tell you that I actually wound up redoing the square and adding a bit more stitches because I just wasn't happy with the length. I was needing it to be a 10 by 10 square, and with those initial stitch counts that I gave, which was 41, I decided, I don't like that. Let's do 47. So just to be clear, you need to cast on 47 and not 41 in order to make a 10 by 10 square for the traveling Afghan. So continue on with your video. And a cast on is simply like this. You kind of hold your fingers in the shape of a gun. You have your tail going to the left, your working yarn going to the right, and you can see I've kind of got them separated here. And this is really simple. I'm going to do the first several cast ons really slow so you can see. So we're going to go under, over, around, and pull it through. And we pull that tight. So that, not too tight, but tight enough where it can slide pretty easily. So we do it again. We go under, over, around, and through. And let me make sure I've got my hands in the right position on the screen. So again, it's under, over, around, and then bringing it through. Again, under, go under that first one, over, that second one, around, and through. So let me do it from this angle so you can see. So I'm going under this one, I'm going over that one, around, and through, just like that. Okay, so we're going to continue with those over, unders, around, and throughs. So it's just under, over, around, and through. Under, over, around, and through. And do that until you have 41 loops cast onto your needles. So now that we have got 41 all cast on, we're going to begin by working row 1, and row 1 is a right side row. So you're going to start by knitting the first stitch, and something that I like to do just to secure my tail is I take the tail and the working yarn in that very first stitch and I knit with both of those, and then I drop the tail and just kind of pull things tight. That just helps secure things just a bit better. And next I'm going to work 3 purls. So 1, 2, 3. And then keeping our yarn at the front of the work, we're going to slip 3 purlwise. And so our yarn is up here in the front, and we're just going to go 1, 2, 3. So we slipped those 3 purlwise, and then we purl the next 3. So 1, 2, 3. Whoops. And you'll notice we've got this loose strand right here. And as you saw in that beginning shot, that loose strand is what helps us create that sort of trellis stitch. So we purled those, and now with our yarn remaining in the front, we're slipping 3 purlwise. 1, 2, 3. Next, we're going to purl the next 3. So 1, 2, 3, slip 3 purlwise. 1, 2, 3. Make sure you're scooting everything down. Purl the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip 3 purlwise. 1, 2, 3. Purl the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip 3 purlwise. 1, 2, 3. Purl the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip 3. 1, 2, 3. Purl 3. 1, 2, 3. And then we bring our yarn to the back and we knit the very last stitch. And that is the end of row 1. All right, so we're turning our work, and now we're working the wrong side row. So the first stitch we're going to purl. So we insert our needle. We're just going to go ahead and purl that first stitch. Take our yarn to the back. We're going to knit the next 3. So 1, 2, 3. Keeping our yarn at the back of the work, we're going to slip 3 purlwise. So we're going to take our needle to the front and we're going to slip 1, 2, 3. And then we're going to knit the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip purlwise 3. 1, 2, 3. Knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip 3 purlwise. 1, 2, 3, and knit 3. 1, 2, and 3. Slip 3 purlwise. 1, 2, 3, and knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip 3 purlwise. 1, 2, 3, and knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Slip again. 1, 2, 3, and knit 3. 1, 2, 3. With the very last stitch being a purl. So we bring our yarn to the front, and if you remember on that first row, we did the working yarn and the tail together, so you treat that as one stitch. So you go underneath both of those, work it as a purl, pull your tail tight, and now that little piece is secure in there, and we're ready to go to row 3. So row 3 is really simple again. So the first stitch, we're going to knit, then we're going to bring our yarn to the front and we're going to purl the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Bring our yarn to the front. We're going to purl 3. 1, 2, 3, and then knit 3. 1, 2, 3, purl, 1, 2, 3. Kind of scrunching our stitches up. 1, 2, 3, purl 3, 1, 2, 3, knit, 1, 2, 3. I hear somebody wants some popcorn out there. 1, 2, that's 3 purls, 3, knit, 1, 2, 3, purl, 1, 2, 3, knit, 1, 2, 3, purl, 1, 2, and 3. And then of course the last stitch is a knit stitch. And now we're ready for row 4. So hopefully you're starting to understand that this is really simple and very repetitive. Basically your action rows, if you will, are going to be row 5 and row, I think it's just row 5. No, it would be row 5 and row 11. Those are kind of our action rows, if you will. And this is a 12-row repeat. So to begin row 4, we are going to start with a purl. So there's our purl stitch. Next, we're going to do 3 knit stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to purl the next 3. 1, 2, 3, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, purl, 1, 2, 3, knit. Ooh, I almost lost it. Knit, 1, 2, 3, purl, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, and then a purl in the last row. Alrighty, so here comes our fun row, row 5. Alright, so this is the row where we get to make the first trellis. And so for the first 5 stitches, we're going to knit those first 5 stitches. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reach down here to these 2 loose stitches that we slipped. We're going to come up to that next stitch. We're going to knit it. We're going to bring it down and bring it all the way down underneath those stitches and slide it off. So essentially what we've done is we've taken those 2 loose strands and we've drawn them up. And then we are going to knit the next 5. So you're going to get to see this several times to get the hang of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and here we are at the next one. So you can see those 2 loose strands right there. We're going to reach down underneath them, go straight up to that next stitch on our hook, or needle rather. We're going to knit it. We're going to bring it all the way down. Don't let it slip off. And then we'll slide off that stitch. And let me just pause for a second and show you what it is that we're trying to achieve. So right here, you can see right there is our drawn up piece. So this is the look, the trellis look. And let me turn my brightness down just a bit and see. Can you see that a little bit better? So with those 2 stitches, we're bringing them up. And that little repeat right there of drawing up those stitches is what helps create that trellis look. So you're just grabbing those and knitting that stitch and just incorporating those 2 strands. You're not like actually knitting the stitch into that space. You're just drawing those strands up and including them, if you will, in your little thing. So right there, you can see we worked them up, and I'll knit the next 5 and show you once again. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then right there, there's our 2 strands. So we're going to go down, grab those 2 strands, come up to that stitch that's on our needle that we have to knit, work the knit, but also bring it down and around those 2 stitches, and then slide that stitch off. And so it's perfectly drawing up those little bows, if you will. And then knit the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then we're going to do it once more. There's our 2 loose stitches. We're just going to go underneath those, go up to that stitch on the needle, come down, and just slide it off. And then knit the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come down like that, knit that next stitch, and then knit 5 again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Come down to those 2 that we slid off, knit, and then knit the last 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And so that is what I'm calling like your action row. That's where you're doing something just slightly different, but achieving a super cool look. So now we're on to row 6. So now we are on to row 6, and row 6 is a repeat of row 3. So what we're going to do is we're going to knit the first stitch, then purl the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to knit the next 3. 1, 2, 3. And then purl the next 3. 1, 2, 3. Knit 3. 1, 2, 3. Purl 3. 1, 2, 3, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, purl 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, purl 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, purl 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, purl 3, 1, 2, 3, and then the last one is a knit 1, and that is the end of row 6. Row 7, this is a purl 1, and row 7 is we're setting up another one of these. We're just doing it in the windows. So remember, this is where we're slipping stitches. So row 7 is really simple. We're going to purl the first stitch, and then keeping the yarn in the front, we're going to slip 3 purlwise, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to purl the next 3 stitches. So 1, 2, 3, and then keep your yarn in the front and slip 3 purlwise. Then purl the next 3 stitches. 1, 2, 3, slip 3, 1, 2, 3, purl 3, 1, 2, 3. Keep scooting everything along. We're going to slip 3 again, 1, 2, 3, and then we're going to purl 1, 2, 3, slip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then purl 1, 2, 3, then slip 1, 2, 3, and then purl 1, 2, 3, and then slip 1, 2, 3, and then purl the last one. And that's the end of row 7. Row 8 is another slipping stitches row. So we're going to knit the first stitch, keeping the yarn at the back. We slip 3 purlwise, 1, 2, 3. Then we're going to knit 3, 1, 2, 3. Then we slip 3 purlwise, 1, 2, 3. Knit 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 3, 1, 2, 3. Keep scooting everything along. Slip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then knit 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 3, 1, 2, 3, slip 3, 1, 2, 3, and then we knit the last stitch. And now we're ready for row 9. Row 9 is a repeat of row 4, and row 4 is worked like so. We're going to purl the first stitch, take our yarn to the back. We're going to knit the next 3, 1, 2, 3. We're going to purl the next 3, 1, 2, 3, knit the next 3, 1, 2, 3, purl the next 3, 1, 2, 3, knit the next 3, 1, 2, 3, purl the next 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 1, 2, 3, purl 1, 2, 3, knit 1, 2, 3, purl 1, 2, 3, knit 1, 2, 3, purl 1, 2, 3, knit 1, 2, 3, and then purl the last stitch. And now we're ready for row 10. Row 10 is a repeat of row 3. So to begin, we knit the first stitch, then we purl the next 3, 1, 2, 3, then it's knit 3, 1, 2, 3, then purl 1, 2, 3, then knit 1, 2, 3, purl 3, 1, 2, 3, knit 1, 2, 3, purl 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 1, 2, 3, and then knit the last stitch. And now we are ready for row 11. Alrighty, 2 more rows to go. So for row 11, this is where we're going to get ready to pull up those 2 strands that we made. So we're going to knit the first 2, 1 and 2. Then we're going to reach down, we're going to grab those 2 right there. We're going to come up and knit that stitch. and then we knit the next 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we do that same thing again. Reach down underneath those 2 strands, come up to the stitch, next stitch to knit on the needle, bring it down and around, slide it off, and knit the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Go down again underneath those 2 strands, come up to that stitch that needs to be knit next, bring it down and around, slide it off, knit the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And after we block this square, it's going to look nice and defined. So we do it again, reach down underneath those 2 strands, up to that stitch, knit it, and then knit the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it again, underneath those 2 strands, up to that stitch, knit it, slide it off. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Do it again, underneath those 2 strands, up to the top, knit the next 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then do it one last time, down those 2 strands, up, knit the whole stitch, and then knit the last 2. And now we are ready for our final row of the repeat, row 12. Alrighty, row 12 is just a repeat of row 4. So we're going to purl the first stitch, and then we're going to knit the next 3. 1, 2, 3, purl the next 3. 1, 2, 3, knit the next 3. 1, 2, 3, purl the next 3. 1, 2, 3, knit the next 3. 1, 2, 3, purl the next 3. 1, 2, 3, knit. 1, 2, 3, purl. 1, 2, 3, knit. 1, 2, 3, purl. 1, 2, 3, knit. 1, 2, whoops, and 3, purl. 1, 2, 3, knit. 1, 2, 3, and we purl for the final stitch. And that is all 12 rows. So if we're looking at the right side here, we can see that gorgeous texture beginning to show through, and you will work up the repeat for the amount of times indicated on the pattern, which is linked down below for your square. Remember, we're looking for a 10 by 10 inch square. So yeah, just head below and get the details for exactly how many repeats. And then if you come back to the video, I'm going to show you how to cast off, how to steam block, and then how to attach it to your Afghan. So once you get your square made up, come back and I'll show you how to complete the rest. Alrighty, so here we are at the end. We've got our square all done, and now it is time to cast things off. So this is traditionally how I have always casted my items off. If you're more of an expert knitter and you have another way that you prefer, please feel free to do that. But if you want to just follow exactly what I'm doing, then this is how I cast off. So I'm going to insert my needle and knit the first stitch. I'm going to knit into the next stitch. Taking my needle, I'm going to grab that first stitch and slide it over, and I've cast off one stitch there, and I'll grab this little extra strand there. I knit the next stitch, grab the stitch before it, bring it over, knit the next one, grab the stitch and slide it over. And I'm literally doing this all the way across for every stitch. So it's just a knit the next one and then grab the previous stitch and slide it over the top. I'll do a few more here so you can see. So real simple, not too hard. And you just want to do that all the way across the top of your square. And once you get to the end, you'll yarn over and or you'll cast off that last stitch, and then you'll pull it through to pull it tight, and I'll show you exactly how to do that here once I get to the end. And then I'm going to show you how to block your square, or just one option, what I do to block your square, and then I'm going to sew it onto the Afghan. And then after that, the Afghan will be on its way to the next maker. So yeah, super exciting. And I hope that you like this square. Put down in the comments if you're making it, if you've been following along with all the makers, and which square has been your favorite so far. I'm very curious to know. I mean, because all of the squares are so unique and so different. So I'm curious to know, like, if you have a favorite and which one it is. All right, so I did that last one, and now we're going to snip it. So it's kind of a long tail, but it's all right. And you just take that yarn, working yarn there, and we're just going to pull it all the way through like that. Just pull it all the way through. And once that is done, now our square is ready to be blocked so that we can see all of that gorgeous stitch definition. So I'm going to show you how I do that. All right, so as you can see, I dampened the square. I kind of balled up the end that I'm going to use to sew the square onto the blanket. And this is honestly a folded up yoga mat because I don't currently have any blocking mats. And I just kind of used a ruler and measured out a 10 by 10 inch square. Now you're going to find that the square is smaller but once you get it dampened and you stretch it all out, it will stretch out to 10 by 10. So just be aware of that. That's the whole point and purpose of blocking, is so that we can give some stitch definition. And so as you can see, here are some of my markings here, and I just made sure to kind of pull everything taut and make sure that all of the stitches are nice and flat and laid out. And I just used some simple push pins, nothing super fancy. But again, the purpose and the goal of this is to make sure that your stitches are laying nice and open and defined. And especially with this trellis pattern, you really want to make sure that your stitches are not all scrunched up, because obviously we want to be able to see those trellis very clearly and nice and defined. And in doing this too, you know, these side edges, I opted not to put an edging on it just because I didn't want anything to take away from this stitch itself. So blocking is going to help give me a nice straight edge, so when I get ready to sew it onto the Afghan, things will be a lot more smooth. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to let this dry, and as soon as it's done, I'm going to pull out that traveling Afghan from the box that I received it in from Jessica, and I'm going to sew it on and show you guys how I do that. And then once it's done, I will pop it back in the mail and send it off to the next maker. So this is just a quick look at how you block your square if you didn't already know how to do it. All right, you guys, it is finally time to unbox the traveling Afghan blanket. One of the reasons I hadn't done it yet is because I was trying to keep it safe from all of the peanut buttery fingers of my wonderful 8 children. So I'm gonna open it up, show you guys what it looks like, and then we're gonna flip around and I'm gonna attach my square and show you how I do it so you can know how to do it too. Open. This is exciting. This is so pretty. Oh my goodness. And to think it's been all over the country. Look at these squares. Oh my goodness. Okay. Look at all the squares. Let's look at this one. This one. That one's cool. This one. That one is gorgeous. This one. And then next up, you see that? I think that one is all about Ami. I'm trying to hold it up. That one is pretty. That one's cool. That one's pretty. Next, that one. Ooh, I like that one. That one looks like the Irish moss stitch. Fun. Ooh. Gorgeous texture. That one, and then these last two. Ooh, that's cute. Ooh, fancy. And then I'm gonna go right there. So this square is going to be attached next. I'm so excited. If you guys are making one of these, let me know down in the comments. I want to see it. This is so beautiful. I am like, wow, pleasantly surprised. So I am going to attach mine on and we're going to flip around and I'm going to show you how I do it. The same yarn that I used to make the square, and I'm going to flip it. So this is the back sides of the blanket and I'm flipping it over. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to find the corner stitch right in here, it looks like. And I'm gonna pull up. I probably pulled out, I don't know, maybe like 3 or 4 inches worth. And I'm gonna leave a long enough tail so that I can weave it in really, really good. So I'm just gonna look here on my edging stitches and I'm gonna find my corner stitch and I'm gonna pull it tight like that, as tight as we can get it. And then I'm going to come over here and I'm going to grab this next little stitch and then the next stitch on this side. We're gonna pull that and then do the same thing again over here. Just trying to make sure that I'm lining up the stitches really nice. I'm just grabbing those and keeping it all nice and even as I'm working my way. And there's my tail. And we don't want it to like gather in like that. We want it to like lay as flat as possible. And so we can kind of see what's going on there. And just being very careful to make sure that I'm not skipping stitches on either square, that I'm going along nice and easy, making sure to evenly grab stitches on either side, because obviously we want it to look pretty as we're sewing it on. And so here's what I would encourage you to do. Obviously, you want to make sure that when you get up to your corner, that your corner is lined up super, super nice. And then up here, as you're going across, make sure that your squares, let's get that one in the, get that one, my table here isn't super long. So just make sure that your corners are matching. So corner to corner, and then you want to go corner to corner, and you're literally going to do right here what I'm doing. So I'll just actually come up for a second and show you. So I just went there. Now I need to go into this stitch and into this next one. And I'm pulling again. Don't pull super tight. If you pull super tight, this is going to gather real weird on you, and you definitely don't want that. So just really simple like this. Just keep going from either side with your stitches, and just keeping an eye, like I said, on everything being even. And then once you're done, you're gonna have two tails to weave in. Obviously, you're gonna have a tail on this side and one on the other side, unless you're not are you sewing them together as you make them? I'm very curious. Comment down below. Are you sewing them together as you're making the squares, or are you just gonna make all the squares and then sew them together all at once using a different method? I'm curious, because technically, I can't remember how many of us there are. I think I'm square 15, you guys. My memory. I need to take, what is that, ginkgo biloba? That helps you with your memory. I think I'm number 15, but I don't remember exactly how many of us there are on this. I think 25, 26, maybe it's just 20. Ugh, either way, I digress. Let me know down below, how are you attaching them? Are you just waiting to make all the squares and then you're attaching, or are you doing it like we're doing and you're attaching as you go? Obviously, all of us have a slightly different method in how we're attaching them. I can tell as I'm looking at the different seams. Everybody's kind of done it just a little bit different. And honestly, there is no wrong or right way. I mean, you seam it together how you want. If you want to copy somebody's method, by all means do so. If you've got your own way of how you do it, then do it that way. That is the beauty of handmade. You are hand making it. You are the designer. You are the creator. Do it how you think it looks beautiful. So I'm just going to continue in this little upside down L shape, going along, attaching my square. This is still just so cool to me, this whole idea. I just love it. So I'm going to do that, and then I'll pop back on. I can't wait to see it finished. It's so cool to think that I contributed one little 10 by 10 square to this, what I am considering a masterpiece. I think it's beautiful. And if you're making it, I totally want to know. And when you're finished, you have got to tag me on social media. I have got to see it. Or you can send it to my email. I just want to see them done. I want to see more of them. I think it's so cool. Alrighty, let me finish attaching this. All right, friends, here it is, all attached onto the blanket and ready to be boxed back up and sent on to the next maker. So cool. So awesome. This is hands down probably one of the coolest projects that I've ever been a part of. So as you can see, we've got 4 squares going across the top. So far we have 1, 2, 3, And I just added to the 4th row. There's my square right there. So cool. So again, if you are participating in the Traveling Afghans, even if you're doing the crochet one or the knit one, please let me know. I would love to see it. Again, this is the coolest project I think I've ever been a part of in the last 6 years of being a professional maker, if that's what you want to call it. But yeah, this was so cool and so much fun. And again, all of the details for making my square, which is square number 15 for the Traveling Knit Afghan, is all linked down below. I hope you guys are having a great week. It's Monday. I actually fell behind last week, if you didn't notice. So I've got several videos coming out on multiple days this week. So I still have the Yarn Chat podcast coming out today, and then also a new blanket design, which is going to be a knit one. So if you've never knit before and you want to knit, this is going to be the blanket for you. So yeah. With all that said, have an awesome day. Make sure you've got notifications turned on so you can see when I have a new video. And that being said, have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one.